As we continue now on America's Forum, before we get to a healthcare discussion with Mike Huckabee, there is news just crossing the wires that needs to be shared with you. The FBI has apparently gotten in contact with the family of American hostage Kayla Mueller. And as you see, this screen grab from the Washington Post, Kayla Mueller, the hostage of the Islamic State or ISIS, is confirmed dead. Before we go to our discussion of diabetes, let's turn to Governor Mike Huckabee for his immediate reaction to this breaking news. Governor?
Well, it's another heartbreaking instance of yet another innocent American, another young and vibrant life that's been cut off by terrorism. I just think we have to put an intense focus on the evil that we face. This is not a geopolitical force. These are radical religious fanatics who can't be negotiated with whom there is no way to bring compromise, consensus, or resolution. Their intention is to kill us. Their intention is not simply to govern us, but to kill us. And that's a very different equation. So if we're dealing with someone whose goal is to annihilate us and exterminate us, then the only thing we can do is to kill them before they kill us, because those are the rules of engagement. And I just wish that this president, this administration, and people around the world would wake up to this. I think the Europeans are finally awakened to it, and many of the sensible leaders in the Middle East are awakened to it. I'm not convinced this message has really sunk into the White House.
Well, one message that sunk in for you personally, Governor, was back about a decade ago when you announced that you had contracted diabetes. We want to talk more about that, and to continue the conversation with Governor Mike Huckabee, we are rejoined by our co-host from Newsmax Washington, former Congressman Bob Walker, and also from our Newsmax Newsroom Central, Newsmax Deputy Health Editor Nick Tate, the author of the new book, Da Vinci's Baby Boomer Survival Guide. Nick, begin the discussion on health care, if you would, please, sir.
Well, Governor, I understand that when you were diagnosed in 2004, your doctor suggested that you might not be around in a decade. Must have been very frightening news, and I'm wondering how you responded.
Well, it was 2003, and when he told me that if I didn't make some lifestyle changes that, I might not survive the next decade, it really did get me to thinking, and it shook me to my core. And I realized that a lot of the health issues that we face are of our own making. And a good way to put it in perspective is that about somewhere around 80% of all the healthcare costs in America are related to chronic disease that for the most part could be resolved, or at least certainly benefited, if we didn't smoke and exercised and didn't overeat. So those are three things. I didn't smoke, never have, but I didn't exercise and I did overeat, and I realized that there were some things I get control of. So I set about to make some significant lifestyle changes, lost over 100 pounds, lost all the symptoms of diabetes, reversed it. And, I think it's one of those things that people need to realize. There are a lot of very costly diseases, costly financially and costly from a standpoint of just personal well-being. Many of those things we can do something about.
Now, just to be clear, you were not taking medicine of any kind, but you were able to reverse the diabetes just through lifestyle changes, exercise, diet, losing weight. Is that correct?
That's correct. Mine was, I guess it was a freshly diagnosed case of diabetes, so I hadn't had a long history of it. It was very recent. And, by making the lifestyle changes, both my normal blood sugar and my A1C hemoglobin, which is really the most important marker in diabetes treatment because it really judges blood sugar over a period of time, those went down to the extraordinarily normal range where they really were ideal. And that's been the significant factor. It's not as difficult.
Governor, I've had the personal experience with this because my brother has actually lived with diabetes now for about 40 years. It is a devastating disease, and it's very tough. But there are a lot of medical advances that are taking place that probably give us some hope of actually dealing with this disease. Can you tell us a little bit about those?
We've got about a minute, Mike.
Okay, I'll be very quick and just say I think, there's some times where medication is going to be necessary for people. I would never suggest that people don't follow their doctor's instructions, because this is a disease you have to monitor and you have to take care of. But if dealt with early, and lifestyle changes where you cut out the processed foods and sugar and things that really can precipitate and aggravate it, then I think a person can, if not prevent it, reverse it, and if not reverse it, manage it and live with it. And every person who has it should make that a priority because the consequences are devastating.
Mike, in the 30 seconds that remain, you have endorsed a book, The Diabetes Solution Kit. What's so good about the Solution Kit?
It's a real simple thing. It basically does what I did 10 years ago. And so, I feel like it's practical, simple. It's not, as somebody once said, it ain't rocket surgery. It's pretty simple stuff. Lifestyle changes.
Got it. That's what we have to do, and sometimes that can be the toughest thing. Well, Mike, we're going to have you back to talk about perhaps a change in your lifestyle, like running for president in the days ahead. For now, sir, you have our thanks, and America's Forum will continue after this.